rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. I have to apologize for last night, for sure, because of the fact that, I had a little bit of a technical snafu. And what ended up happening is my computer's getting older, and unfortunately it ran into a little bit of an issue last night trying to get taught on. And so that's why you heard throughout most of our interview, you heard him with a crackling noise in the background. And so I apologize for that. It is what it is. There's not much else that I can really say or do with regards to it. So we're just going to have to go with it. And, but other than that, how was the interview? Go ahead and just give me a little shot in the chats there. Tell me kind of how things were for the interview for that last night. I've heard from a couple of people that they enjoyed it, which is fantastic because, I mean, he's a very interesting guy. And his story is such that it's amazing, for it. So, yeah, anyway. All right. You guys make me laugh. No, believe me, I heard it. I heard the crackling, and it was, let me just tell you, that crackling was, it was bothering me in my ears. And I heard it especially on the audio portion of the broadcast. So I apologize, for that. But anyway, hopefully now I've found the problem, got it fixed. Hopefully it'll, or at least I've got it, circumvented. And so now hopefully, nothing like that'll show up, ever again, if I'm lucky. Anyway. Okay. So, Fat Paws saying that was the best show. Well, thank you for that. All right. All right, folks. So that's great. I will, I actually ironically have another, interview. Somebody has reached out to me and said, hey, I was listening to your podcast and I have a person that you may be interested in talking about. So, yeah, so that's, we'll see what I can do with that one. It's on a topic that I'm not entirely familiar with 100%, but that's okay. You know, we just go ahead and do it. So, all right, so let's go ahead and, get to tonight's, Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight is going to be led by the, oh, well, I guess you guys didn't hear crackling. It was all on me. Anyway, no, Tommy, it's not Zelensky. But anyway, let's go ahead and get the Pledge of Allegiance going. Tonight is being led by the Venerable Buddy Weiser. So if you are of mine, please stand, remove your hat, which, by the way, Todd did. He was in the green room. And when the pledge went off last night, he took his hat off, put his hand over his heart. So, you can tell that's a patriotic American, let me tell you. All right. So please stand, remove your hat if you're wearing one like me. And, let's, put your hand over your heart and follow along with Buddy Weiser in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I hereby pledge my allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which she stands, one nation under one God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all her citizens. So help me God.
All right, and thank you, buddy, for submitting that wonderful pledge. If you would like to hear your version of the Pledge of Allegiance played here on the program, all you need to do is take a audio or video file of yourself performing the pledge and attach it to an email. Send that email off to fans, F-A-N-S, at americanperspective.online. And send it off to fans, F-A-N-S, at americanperspective.online, and I will get it into the rotation for the program. All right. Let's go ahead and get tonight's headline sponsor out of the way. The headline sponsor for tonight is TGRN.net. That's TGRN, True Grit Roots Network, is the internet radio, digital radio station. Okay. And TGRN.net is our home on the web. Tonight is Ladies' Night. That's right. Right after this broadcast at 8 p.m. Central Time, you have Black and Blues by The Real Lady A. That's right. The Real Lady A, not that Lady Antebellum shortening, but the Real Lady A. And then following her and her broadcast is the Queens of the Blues. That's the Queens of the Blues with Gina Coleman. So come on down to TGRN's house. Listen to TGRN.net right through your browser or download our app for that. And download our app for that. And then also, too, don't forget, you can also find us in the iHeartRadio, Odyssey, AUDACY, and Alive 365 apps as well. Once you can search us up through their catalog of digital radio stations. Once again, that's TGRN.net. That stands for True Grit Roots Network, and we've got some fantastic stuff coming up real soon. Announcements are coming. I'm telling you, they're forthcoming here. But anyway, check us out at TGRN.net, True Grit Roots Network, based out of Austin, Texas. All right. So I see a couple of people. I see I have a birthday song that I need to sing at the end of the program. So let's make sure that I don't forget. Anyway. So, all right, let's get on with the program. Let's get on to what's going on. So, we have a bunch of testosterone laden stuff. Okay. That came out over today and, within the last 24 hours, testosterone laden stuff. And I'm not just talking about, the whole Zelensky thing, although we'll get to that here in just a minute. But I finally found the clip. That's right. I found the clip of Representative Crenshaw, old One Eye himself, saying what I told you he was being accused of saying. And so, let's just go ahead and take a listen to that really quickly here, because I got to tell you, it's a little disturbing to think that this gentleman actually says this. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to play you the video clip, and there's a lot of background noise. And then what I did is I took the audio clip and I took the audio from that video clip and I tried to clean it up as best I could. The specific part where he is off mic, and he is making those comments about Tucker Carlson. So we're going to first start with the video, and then I'll play the slightly enhanced audio of that particular moment. So take a listen.
Thank you. Have you ever met Tucker? We've talked a lot. I haven't made
Okay, so hat tip to the Independent for that. But there you go. That's the video portion. Now, I went and I enhanced the audio as best I could, tried to take out some of the background noise, get his vocals up a little bit. And so let's go ahead and listen to that. I don't want to have you guys watch a black screen, so I'm going to go ahead and go full bore here, but take a listen to the audio and you tell me. I mean, let's be honest. You tell me if he actually said this or not.
We've talked a lot. If I ever need
Here, let me go ahead and turn that up just a little bit more so you guys can hear.
We've talked a lot. If I ever need
You know, the beep kind of gets in the way, and I'm assuming that they beeped it because whoever was there actually heard what he said and was like, oh my gosh, we got to beep that out, you know, bleep it out. But it's, I don't know, it's kind of hard to hear the word kill at the, you know, but I can tell you that somebody, heard that and felt that it needed to be bleeped out. One more time.
We've talked a lot. If I ever need
Yeah, unfortunately, I know it's really, really hard to hear, but he says, we've talked a lot on Twitter, and if I ever meet him, I'm going to effing kill him, is what the quote is reportedly what he's supposed to say. Okay. And it is very difficult to hear because there is a lot of background noise. And like I said, I did what I could to get rid of the background noise as best I could. Didn't quite work it out 100%, but it's there. And so here's the thing about this is that now he has been hit with an ethics complaint. So here in Just the News, Representative Crenshaw is hit with an ethics complaint over appearing to say that he'd kill Tucker Carlson. So a nonprofit group has filed an ethics complaint against him because of the fact that he said that in a hot mic moment. In the video of the interview, which I grabbed out of this article, and the complaint was filed with the House's Office of Congressional Ethics by the American Accountability Foundation. You know, this happened on February 24th. The group wrote in the social media platform X, talking about it. The group says that it has filed an ethics complaint based on chamber rules about conduct unbecoming a member of the House. And it was during the interview with a British journalist, who he also, you know, Crenshaw also said that he's never met him, but then appeared to say at the very end, which you can hear at the very end, he's the worst effing person ever. So now Crenshaw denied this, of course. After GOP Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene asked him about writing it, he asked him about it. He wrote, LOL, no. So, but yeah, we'll see. So, in the past, okay, Crenshaw has also called his GOP colleagues terrorists among the intense race for House Speaker when it took a few rounds to nominate former Speaker Kevin McCarthy. So, yeah, we'll see what happens about this. Now that the ethics complaint has been filed, we'll have to see how this comes out. But I'm telling you, I mean, I listen to it with my headphones on, like my good quality headphones, and I can just barely pick it out. I don't know if he says I'd probably kill him or I'd effing kill him, but because the beep is there, okay? But I don't know. It's really close. Kind of a close call. So anyway, we'll just kind of have to see what happens with that. All right. let's see. He's not the only one being investigated or called onto the carpet. You remember I talked a couple of days ago, a little while ago, about the let's see, who is the guy? Where Representative Eli Crane introduced articles of impeachment against U.S. District Judge Paul Engelmeyer. You remember that? Okay. Well, now we have yet another judge being impeached. So we have impeach-a-thon ensnares a growing number of Get Trump judges. So House Republicans have now unveiled articles of impeachment against 3 federal judges who have issued rulings against President Donald Trump's second-term administration in what has been dubbed an impeach-a-thon of judicial activists. So in a post on Thursday on X, Representative Andy Ogles from Tennessee revealed an impeachment resolution accusing United States District Judge Amir Ali, a Biden appointee, of high crimes and misdemeanors for blocking the Trump administration's foreign aid pause. The measure faults Ali for an order that, without merit, marginalized the president's Article II authority, which vests power to conduct foreign policy and has further compromised the president's fiduciary obligation to review federal agencies and programs. Yep. So he introduced this resolution after the Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts granted the Trump administration's request to put a hold on Ali's order, commanding the executive branch to pay an estimated $2 billion in foreign assistance funds, per CBS News. They're hitting back, folks. They're not taking any crap. That's what's happening. This administration is definitely different than the first time around. Well, I don't know if anybody heard, but the leftist has decided to stage a 24-hour I'm not going to buy anything. They call it the 24-hour blackout. Now, that was supposed to start at midnight last night and is supposed to go on today. Now, here's the purpose of it. It's to protest Trump's DEI cuts. Do you honestly think you're going to get enough people to freaking get there? Anyway, it's here in the Daily Fetched. Leftists are planning a 24-hour boycott of major corporations in response to the Trump administration's rollback of DEI initiatives. Starting at midnight last night, or technically, I guess this morning, liberals will be swearing off Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy, McDonald's, and other fast food joints. Yeah. Like that's really going to get you anything anywhere. Mrs. Whiskey's a woman right after my own heart. Let's just tell you that. She just walked by and she goes, I'm so sad. Anyway, she was kidding. All right. Oh, goodness. So anyway, apparently there was a flyer that was promoting the boycott, urging participants to pre-shop and only grab essentials on Friday. Today. The flyer states, disrupting the economy even for one day sends a powerful message. Yeah, I don't think you guys disrupted the economy. The flyer continued and said, hey, if they don't listen, we'll make the next blackout longer. Our numbers are powerful. This is how we make history. Really? Are you sure? I don't know about that. Anyway. Oh gosh, they're just fighting and fighting and fighting. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Okay. So let's get to the talk of the town. Zelensky went to the White House. He went there presumably to sign a contract or an agreement for the U.S. to trade. Something's going on here with my. There we go. Anyway, to presumably to sign an agreement for rare earth minerals for basically munitions, bombs, whatever, and it was supposed to be a really good meeting. That was the key, is it was supposed to be a really good meeting. Well, things started going sideways during a particular conversation. Now, I got to tell you, J.D. Vance is going to be just like Trump, I think, in 2028. He ain't taking no crap out of anybody. Yeah, let's just oh, brother, we got to do this. So this is in the Daily Wire, but here's the video. I just want to, now there's two videos that I'm going to play for you, too. One of them is a long version and one of them is a short version. The longer version really has some bad audio. I don't know where RSBN Network was sitting when they took this, but I had to enhance the audio on the first version. And so it's going to be probably a little low when it comes out, but the other one should come in a lot better. But anyway, so here, let's go and take a listen as to where this thing started to go off the rails.
I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now the President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014 and 2014.
2014?
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking.
Okay, so this is where I'm going to switch videos, and hopefully I'll be able to come back to the other one. But this is where things kind of went off the rails. So here's the thing. Obviously, Zelensky is pointing to and referring to Putin. And what Zelensky is saying here is actually correct. You know, they did get invaded under Obama. They did get invaded again under Biden. Now, granted, none of that has anything to do with Trump because, as Trump pointed out, Trump wasn't even in the office when he got invaded the first time or the second time. Okay. But he's sitting there and he's essentially kind of trying to call JD, at least in my opinion, call JD on the carpet with regards to this. And he's trying to do so, I think, in a okay. First of all, I don't think he's necessarily being antagonistic, but he does want particular answers. He wants to understand why President Trump and JD Vance are looking at diplomacy again. And, you know, again, to be honest, he's trying to walk out of the deal. He's trying to walk out of here with a good deal, like he had before, where all he had to do was come to Congress, make a speech, and he'd get, you know, millions of billions of dollars. Not going to happen under this regime, buddy. It's going to go. But hey, he came here and he wanted to give it a shot, and now he's trying to notice he's not talking to Trump. He's talking to JD Vance. And I think what he's trying to do is he's attempting to push JD, and in the hopes that Trump might end up folding. I don't exactly think it goes the way that he wanted it to. So here's a better quality audio and video for this, okay?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are
Mr.
not
President,
strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems?
What?
Bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
That.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
Okay, so I got to stop it right here. So JD was trying to essentially tell Zelensky, look, you guys have been freaking, you know, you're having problems here. It's time to end it. And yeah. So now he's saying, look, you guys have this ocean, meaning Zelensky, you guys have this ocean. You guys don't feel what we're feeling. And at that point, he poked the wrong bear, and Trump decided to get involved. Oh, let's take a listen.
We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
I'm not
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
Oh, now, this is exactly the point. Zelensky, see, I don't know about you, all right, but I don't know about you, but you don't come to the country that you're looking to save your ass and get into essentially what turns out to be a, you know, schlong measuring match with the people that you are asking and begging for money from. I don't think that's a good tactic, Zelensky. I think what you should have done is you should have come in, you should have come to the White House, been very magnanimous, hat in hand, and just basically said, hey, look, you know, I appreciate this. Let's go ahead and sign this deal. Let's get this this done and over with. But instead, he decided to take it the opposite way and decided to poke the bear. Okay, now let's continue on this little clip here.
We're going to feel very good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very
You
strong.
will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the
bad
very
position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I was
You don't have
in
the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards. But
cards.
right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
What do you
You're
think about-
gambling with
what do you
World
think
War III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to you.
Far more than a lot of people said
I'm very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
you said thank you.
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States
what
of
are you speaking
America
about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Woo! Wow. Huh. Not exactly sure that tactic's going to work. Oh, and believe me, the full clip of the entire thing, it keeps going on. I mean, I haven't watched the entire thing, but I'm going to tell you, it just gets worse from there. Okay? It just gets worse from there. I mean, seriously, he did. I mean, J.D. Vance is right. He came to the manufacturing facilities in Pennsylvania with Josh Shapiro, the governor there, and signed a bomb for it. Glow gets credit for that one. He signed a bomb for it. I kind of forgot about that. Oh my gosh. I mean, again, this guy, I don't think he quite understands where he is at. I don't think he quite understands he's dealing with someone who is, shall we say, much more, well, I mean, if you just take a look at the way that Donald Trump sits, I mean, he's got some big brass ones. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. And Trump, to his credit, when what's his name? Zelensky showed up, Trump, to his credit, he greeted him amicably in the beginning. Now, I will have to say there are times where stuff like this, I think Zelensky may have tried to take advantage of the fact that he was in front of the press corps. And he didn't think that Donald Trump nor J.D. Vance would want to have that kind of a engagement, that he may have been able to take a little extra for that in that time. Well, yeah. Anyway, Trump didn't take kindly to that whole exchange. And so he ultimately, as you see here in the Daily Wire, he ultimately canceled the meeting. Sends Zelensky packing. They politely, maybe not so politely, but politely asked for Zelensky to leave. And Trump, of course, says he can come back when he is ready for peace. See, this is the thing. I don't think that Zelensky wants the peace to come about, because with peace, he loses his money train. He loses think about this, okay? He's in a country where he became the president. He suspended elections, okay? He suspended elections for his country. Now, here's the thing. Zelensky, I bet, knows that he is not going to get Crimea. He is not going to get the Donbass region. I mean, basically, you guys saw the maps. I had them on this program not that long ago. There's a big, significant section on the eastern side of the country that is being occupied by Russian troops. And I think that he wants the grift to continue. So President Trump announced today that he was canceling the planned press conference with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky following the tense Oval Office meeting, which you just saw part of, after which Trump declared that the Ukrainian leader was not ready for peace if America is involved. Trump asked Zelensky to leave following their meeting, a White House official told the Daily Wire. Zelensky departed the White House shortly thereafter. The statement, of course, followed the tense meeting in the Oval Office between Trump, Zelensky, and J.D. Vance, in which the American leaders chastised Zelensky for his behavior on American soil, arguing that the Ukrainian president was ungrateful. Yeah. So anyway, Trump said in a statement, "We had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion, and I have determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved, because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations." Trump continues and says, "I don't want advantage. I want peace." He disrespected the United States of America in its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace. Yeah. So there was no signing of the deal. Zelensky departed without it. And yeah. Yep. Vance was right there with him. So, yeah, I just, again, if you're coming here with hat in hand looking to gain more money, that's not one of the things that you want. You don't want to basically piss off the people that are there. And so him leaving without anything, I think, is now basically telling him essentially that, yeah, you guys need to stop. And, the fact of the matter is, like I said, the battle lines have been pretty stagnant for quite some time. They need to essentially come to an agreement and basically say, look, if everything stays the way it is, and let's be honest, that area, from all reports, that area that Russia took over is mostly Russians anyway. Russian separatists, they were looking to get out of the connection to Ukraine. It was mostly Russian sympathetic folks anyway. They didn't want to be part of Zelensky's Ukraine. So, but the one thing that Vladimir has constantly wanted, apparently, is that he has wanted security concessions. And what he doesn't seem to understand, or what, Zelensky doesn't seem to understand, is that if he had signed that deal, America would have a further interest in Ukraine other than just a political one. We would have had a monetary one. And that would have meant that we more likely would have been, okay, now we have an interest, and so on and so forth. I also think, believe it or not, because Putin has offered up the fact that we could work with them in a deal for raw rare earth metals and raw materials, I think that that announcement and that communication probably helped to torpedo the deal. total deal. I'm just saying. Oh, just because of the fact that it's, you know, again, you're dealing with people in terms of Trump and even JD Vance to some extent. You're dealing with transactional folks. It's like I am, you know, in terms of Trump, I am not getting nothing for something. It's going to be a something for something, and I'm going to end up being on the better end of the deal than what it is. So there you go. But the fireworks were out. Zelensky apparently took his testosterone pills and tried to go up against the big dog and his partner, and that didn't work out very well. All right, let's go ahead and get to let's go ahead and do this. So, if you're looking for a great place online for news, discussion, and entertainment, check out Truth Social. Now, you'll see my socials come up right over here. I have a Truth Social account. I believe it's at Whiskey Musings or at Whiskey_Musings. I can't remember which one it is, but you really got to check it out. Truth Social is the place where Donald Trump announces all of his thoughts and ideas and everything that is going on in his realm, bypassing the mainstream media like he did with Twitter in his first term. But this time it's on his own platform, in his own words. And the way that he does it is, it's just awesome. So check out Truth Social, Donald Trump's social media website. You'll get breaking news stories and commentary from top news figures. If you want to see Trump's legendary Truth Social posts, like I just said, then get on Truth Social today. Join a growing community of all patriots on a free speech platform, and designed to avoid censorship and cancellation by big tech. Make your voice heard. Join the movement. Join Truth Social. Go to truthsocial.com and get signed up today. All right. Well, apparently Mexico decided to help us and pass us some evil folks. Let's just be honest. Not so good folks. But here in the Epic Times, Mexico extradites 29 cartel members to the U.S. Among these members is Rafael Caro Quintero, who has been wanted for the 1985 killing of a DEA agent. Extraditions come as U.S. tariffs on Mexican imports loom. Yep. Well, this is part of the reason why tariffs, I'm telling you, if tariffs are being used, honestly, if tariffs are being used as a leverage point or a stick, like I said, the carrot and the stick approach, I'm all for it. Okay. I'm all for it. But this is just maybe a little bit of a olive branch from Mexico in terms of this. So they extradited these 29 cartel members and they brought them into the U.S. Those taken into U.S. custody from Mexico are convicts or others who have been accused of ties to violent drug cartels. Individuals are facing charges related to racketeering, drug trafficking, murder, illegal use of firearms, money laundering, and other crimes in the United States, according to the DOJ. Caro Quintero, by the way, previously denied involvement in the murder of the DEA agent. The DEA agents Enrique Camarena Salazar back in 1985. Quintero was released in 2013 on a technicality by a Mexican judge and returned to drug trafficking before being recaptured in 2022. So DEA Acting Administrator Derek Maltz said in a statement, Caro Quintero, a cartel kingpin who unleashes violence, destruction, and death across the United States and Mexico, has spent 4 decades atop DEA's most wanted fugitive list. And today we can proudly say that he has arrived in the United States where justice will be served. Maltz also stated that Quintero's extradition is extremely personal for the men and women of the DEA who believe he is responsible for the brutal torture and murder of Camarena Salazar. So there you go. Also in that pack of extradited folks is Antonio Oscuera Cervantes, the brother of drug lord Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, who allegedly led the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, and Martin Sotelo, who is accused of participating in the 2020 murder of Deputy Sheriff Ned Byrd. The DOJ stated that those extradited include leaders and managers of drug cartels recently designated as foreign terrorist organizations and specially designated global terrorists, such as the Sinaloa Cartel, the CJNG, Los Zetas, La Nueva Familia Mexiocana. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing them right. Anyway, and the Gulf Cartel. So Mexico also transferred Miguel Trevino Morales and his brother Omar Trevino Morales, both leaders of the violent drug trafficking organization Los Zetas, according to U.S. authorities. Let's just say that they've got a pack of people that they've been given. Very bad people. And, I hope that they get their day in court and get justice for the people who were killed and everything else for that. So, anyway. Well, Pete Hegseth is not wasting any time being the Secretary of Defense. Speaking of Mexican cartels and everything, Pete Hegseth has now claimed that, military strikes on Mexican fentanyl labs are on the table. Anyway, so here, let's just,
What's your message to the cartels? They're watching all this. What's your message to them?
Oh, my message has been from the beginning, we're taking nothing off the table. Nothing. We will do whatever it takes to secure the American homeland, to maintain our sovereignty, and protect the American people.
Does that mean you're ruling out potential strikes inside of Mexico on fentanyl labs that we know they exist, and we know where they exist?
No, I don't think I ruled anything out. Anything's on the table. The Commander-in-Chief, ultimately, with my consultation and with the chairman and others, will make those determinations, but nothing's off the table. Our sovereignty will be defended.
Wow. Well, that's kind of an interesting angle to take. Now, don't get me wrong. I totally agree with him. I actually think we should be utilizing some of our more, shall we say, lethal assets to go up against these folks, because I'll be honest with you, it's not like they're undermanned or undergunned in comparison. The cartels have got a lot of manpower, and they have a lot of really sophisticated weaponry as well. They've been able to buy all kinds of stuff. And let's not, mention the whole Fast and Furious scandal. But, as far as I'm concerned, go ahead. And Pete Hegseth is right there. I mean, I don't want to put necessarily any of our military members into harm's way, but the reality of it is that the cartels are really and truly running the north part of Mexico right now. And it definitely needs to be cleaned up and taken care of. And if the government can't do it, there's a suggestion out there by Senator Mike Lee. If the government can't do it for political reasons, then he suggests an alternative. This one, oh, this is a really interesting idea. So here, this is in Fox News Now, but it comes from The Hill originally. GOP Senator Mike Lee suggests letting pirates take on the cartels at the border. So he suggested this Wednesday that Congress and President Trump should allow private citizens. I don't know about that. He appeared apparently on Fox News's Will Cain show, where he was asked about his plan to allow people to be deployed, but not using the U.S. military. Okay. Privateers is what they're called, he said. Letters of marque and reprisal, are authorized under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 10 of the Constitution. Lee said that is the same clause that gives Congress the power to declare war, but it also allows the legislative branch to use letters of marque. In other words, authorizing privateers, pirates essentially, to carry out acts of piracy. Now, the host, Will Cain, clarified, asking the Utah Republican if that's something that he would realistically expect Congress or Trump to sign off on. Lee replied, look, it hasn't happened in a couple of centuries. You think? Anyway, so I'm not going to kid you here. Into thinking this is a certainty to pass. What I am saying, though, is that it should be considered. Well, I mean, let's be honest. We used, private military contractors, PMCs, in many areas over in the Middle East. So it's not that far-fetched of an idea. My biggest challenge with that, of course, is that, we already know about things like, Abu Ghraib and some other places that even our military members had challenges. I'm not entirely certain that would be such a good idea. Now, he does talk about the fact that there are immense risks with deploying the U.S. military to the shared border, and argued that the situation may be less volatile if private citizens were the ones to counter the cartel. He also noted that George Washington was a privateer and investor in privateers. Anyway, Lee concluded by saying this is fairly common at the time of the American Revolution, and we have to consider it and perhaps pass one with reference to the international drug cartels, Lee concluded. I'm a little less likely to want to have something like this happen. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, it sounds like a good idea at the beginning. But I don't know, man. These cartels, they are way too heavily armed and way too well funded. I think it's going to take more of a military presence for that to really take care of it. But here's the thing, though, is that you have a lot of politics in this particular case, because unlike when Congress goes and says, hey, we're going to go to war over whatever, we're going to go to war with another nation state. We declared war against ISIS, but I don't know. Cartels They're a private entity. They're not like a government or anything like that. Now, again, as I've argued on this program before, the cartels are so ingrained in the Mexican government that you could almost say that the cartels are an extension of the Mexican government, and therefore, if we declare war on the Mexican government, we are declaring war on the cartels. We're declaring war on the Mexican government. But I don't know. I'm not entirely thrilled about this entire situation, to be honest with you. Don't know if that's really something that we should necessarily broach or approach for this entire situation. So anyway, yeah, not exactly. I'm not in favor of it. Just overall, the more that I think about it. Okay, well, Trump has done something that I said should have happened a long time ago. And I bet this is going to make the left go nuts too, which is perfectly fine with me. Here in the Daily Wire, Trump to issue order making English the official language of the United States. Now, as you all know, I mentioned on this program, we do not have a official language here in the U.S. Never been stated. We have an official bird. We have, official other things, but not an official language. So now Trump is going to issue an executive order making it the official language, which is kind of cool, actually. This is according to reports that are, that are out there about this. The U.S. has never implemented a national language at the federal level. The Department of Justice's coordination regulation. 5 months before he left office, Bill Clinton issued an executive order to aid what he called the limited English proficiency persons writing to assist the agencies with this endeavor. The Department of Justice today issued a general guidance document, LEP guidance. So Clinton's executive order stated where a significant number or proportion of the population eligible to be served are likely to be directly affected by a federally assisted program, needs service or information in a language other than English in order to effectively be informed of or to participate in the program, the recipient shall take reasonable steps considering the scope of the program and the size and concentration of such population to provide information in appropriate languages to such persons. Trump's executive order is going to eliminate that mandate. He says agencies will still be able to provide documents and services in languages other than English, according to the White House summary of the order, viewed by the Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal reported, adding that the summary of the order said the goal of making English the national language is to promote unity, establish efficiency in the government, and provide a pathway to civic engagement. Yeah, making sure that we have English as our national language goes a long way toward the idea of the whole melting pot, which is where we were going. See, dealing with the multicultural aspect of things is not going to go anywhere. Just take a look at Europe. Europe is multicultural, and they're having all kinds of issues. One of the things that makes America America is the fact that people, traditionally, immigrants have come here. They have shed what was bad about their countries and taken what was good and incorporated it all within the American fabric. And that's basically where we're going with this. And I think personally, the trail back to that thought process starts with the idea that everyone who is here in America at least will understand English as our official language. All right, folks, I have one last task to do, so hang on. This is the fantastic task because my news has a birthday today. And even though I've flubbed up before, I'm not going to flub up now. So thanks to Bonnie for reminding me. My news, this one is for you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear My News. Happy birthday to you. Hope you had a good one, My News. All right, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. Once you are signed up and signed in, make sure you search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time that I go live. Also, too, don't forget, tomorrow night is Saturday. That means I stream 1 hour later, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.